Brody, don't slouch.
I'm the funny guy. I can do what I want.
Don't slouch.
I can do what I want. I'm the funny guy. Is it recording?
No.
God, that would have been funny.
You want to do it again?
No. It's gone now. The moment's gone.
Portable Thoughts is drawn before a live studio audience.
Alright, we are back with BCCS updates. Alright, first up we have sports scores.
Amazing.
Before I start, every event that I will be speaking of is at the time of this recording.
That's good for them to know.
So,
I would have liked to know that too.
the volleyball game on Tuesday was a good day for BCCS volleyball girls.
Oh.
Middle school B and A both won with 2 wins, 1 loss in their sets. JV also won with 2 wins, 1 loss in their set. And then varsity blew the other team out of the water with a 3-0.
Amazing scores. Now tell them about soccer.
Alright, as for soccer, this was not as great.
I know, but it's still exciting.
Tuesday's middle school game resulted in a loss 1-4.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Varsity's game on Monday was also a loss, 4-2.
But it's fine. We played really good.
We did. Alright. Now the one you've all been waiting for, 88 days until Christmas.
At time of this recording.
I already said that.
I
Anyways,
just wanted to make sure they knew.
there is going to be a bake sale for Student Council October 3rd through 4th at 7:30 a.m. and 2:45 p.m. at the secondary snack shop in the main lobby. Got anything to add there, Mr. President?
Yeah, it's supposed to be that we're also selling them at snack time.
Alright.
That's what secondary snack means.
Alright. Next up, there is a fall festival date change. It has been changed to November 10th.
So come on down to the fall festival where we fest your fall.
What?
I got distracted. I'm not going to say about what.
Alright, anyways. And finally, at the time of this recording, we have a t-shirt competition going on now at BCCS. For this competition, each student will be creating a t-shirt using 1 shirt color and 2 separate colors that are school colors.
And you can put these, Jay, stop. I'll just cut that part out. And you can enter your t-shirts by using Canva or just make something on a piece of paper and you can email it to Mrs. Williams or you can just hand it in to her.
We have 3 different groupings for the competition. We have kindergarten through 5th grade, we have 6th grade through 8th grade, and then we have 9th grade through 12th grade. The winners will receive a free shirt, if I remember correctly, from last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it as far as BCCS
That's
updates go.
BCCS news. Have fun. Have a great day. Hello everyone, welcome to Conspiracy Theories of Portable Thoughts. Today we have Mr. Sir David Sir, or as everyone else should call him, Mr. Williams. Today we are going to be talking about still Earth theory.
Aren't you leading the combo? So what do you think about still Earth?
Well, this is actually like the first time I've heard of still Earth. I mean, I've heard a lot of flat Earth, round Earth, donut Earth, but never still Earth. What does that mean? Like, what does still Earth mean?
Just not on a spinning ball. It still has shape to it, I believe.
Okay.
Highs and lows, but I don't think it spins.
definitely ties into like flat Earth, but I think a lot of people misunderstand that it's not just flat completely. There's definitely still some shape to it.
Yeah, there's a big misconception, I think. People think it's flat like a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's what I see with all the diagrams. It's like, oh, then they flatten it out like a pancake. It's like, yeah, it means if you dug like 6 inches deep, you'd be on the other side or whatever.
Yeah. There's got to be depth, because our creator was, he thought it all out. Every bit of it, I think. But I don't know, there's a lot of mention, that's what brought my Bible, there's a lot of mention in the Bible that it does not move. But I guess it's up to interpretation against who's reading the verse.
That'd be interesting to hear. I think also we got to look at like why people would question it. Like we've been told the Earth is spinning and the Earth is round, and we've been told this for like all of our lives, right? So like, why are people questioning it now? And I think it comes down to like nobody trusts anybody anymore, and you start unraveling something, and you start seeing more things and more things. That's how I got into conspiracy theories. Was one conspiracy, I think the first one I got into was 9/11,
Yeah.
and then after that I just was like, whoa, wait a minute, look at this, look at that, and then all the things started making more sense. So is that what you believe then? Is that it's not moving?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, one of the verses I looked up was Psalms 104:5. It states, "He set the earth on its foundations so that it should never be moved." And there's a few others that I looked up, but there's a lot of people, Christians, it's like, what's a foundation? But to me, I think the words saying, "it shall never be moved," how do you interpret that? Like, you don't. Like, that's pretty cut and dry to me.
I have a hard time believing, what is it, that they say we're moving 1,000 miles an hour or something?
Yeah.
And I know they're like, well, you won't feel it just like you don't feel it in an airplane or something, but you can see it if you look out the window in an airplane, and we're not enclosed in anything, so you would think that we would see that as well.
Right. That's the same thing with, like, waters, like, how the water's being held in.
Right.
A lot of people's argument is gravity, but I just looked up simple definition, and it says gravity is a force that attracts all objects with mass. So it's basically saying is water a mass? I mean, it's a body of water, but is it actually mass?
Right. I don't know. I always tell people, like, I don't know. I'm not one of those people that will just say this is what it is. I just question everything. So I don't have a lot of answers, but I do question a lot of things. One thing that always like bothered me was like, and I know that like people have explained it to me 1,000 times, but like if we're on top of the globe, that would mean that there's people like upside down or whatever, and yet you're not upside down because everything would fall out, right? If gravity was pulling it down. So I just don't understand how all that works.
I think it's interesting, like, when you teach everyone, like, the heliocentrism or whatever, that we're spinning ball, going through space, anything can happen at any time. Everything's so complicated, leave it up to the experts, and it kind of leaves everyone confused and without, like, self-direction, knowing where you are. It kind of just messes up society. So it just seems like a good idea if the government wanted to control us easier, is to make everything very complicated.
Yeah. That's what they love, to complicate things. Confuse people.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you ask any normal person, no one actually knows how any of that really works. I mean, you can justify it with mathematics, maybe, but...
Well, and tying in complicated is NASA, and that's, to me, is who pushes the globe theory. And why do they need to push the globe theory of gravity and space and all that? And why? There's, and that, to me, they just perpetuate lies as NASA.
Yeah.
I think they're full of deceit, and they are part of Satan's plan, is what I think.
I 100% agree. And I look at credibility. Like, if I have a neighbor and he's lied to me 30 times, and then he comes and tells me the truth on something, yeah, I'm going to probably think he's lying to me. And so there might be, like, certain things that end up being true that we just automatically are like, yeah, right, you're lying. But, like, the big picture of it is NASA's been lying to us about things since the beginning of it. I mean, even about who created it. I mean, we brought Nazis over from Germany.
1,000 Nazis.
Yeah.
I think more than 1,000.
More than 1,100? It was.
I mean, it was started already with zero morals. You know what I mean? Like, so why would I ever believe anything that you say?
Trash.
Yeah. They might have been smart, but they weren't moral. So, like.
Yeah. How can we deceive the world at the greatest lengths? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Satan works with people within them. So.
Absolutely. Brody, you've been quiet.
I know. This isn't giving me the information I need. Apparently Google doesn't know what still Earth is. That's a little suspicious.
It's hard to find stuff on it. It'll, like, you really gotta dig for a long time.
Yeah, here, hold on, let me try dark web.
So are you thinking, like, with still Earth, are you thinking, like, the sun and moon
Yeah.
are moving and we're not? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
See, that always has made sense to me. Like, I would agree with that.
They have a pattern where they, and that makes sense to why some places don't have sun in certain parts of the day.
Yeah.
So.
And why some certain parts are always sunny and every night.
There's some good videos that show how the sun goes down, and you know how perspective is. Like when you're looking down the street, you can see stuff gets smaller, but they're the same size. But it shows like the sun kind of going like not down, but away
But
from
out,
you, and
away.
you can kind of see the light kind of going like around. So it's just a different perspective. Instead of just going down the earth and circling it.
So I think it's getting out of that mindset of just being a zombie, of being taught what to think and how to think.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to the experts.
Yeah.
Kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in that mentality where it's just like, I don't care because they'll tell us what's going on.
Right.
I mean, that's what started with the news, right? Like, people for years trusted the news. They did a poll and, like, I think it's like 8% trust the news, and yet if you did a poll on how many people watch the news, it would be way higher than that. So you're watching something you don't even think is real. It doesn't make any sense to me. I laugh at some of the.
I can't even watch the news.
No.
It's just sickening.
It's ridiculous.
Frustrating.
Both
It's stupid.
sides do. It's like controlled opposition.
Bingo.
Well, I brought this water bottle because you see how water that holds level.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter like how big this surface is. It's still gonna hold level. So what makes me think it's gonna curve?
Right.
Like, silly.
No, I agree.
Silliness.
I think it's more so like like everybody makes fun of everybody. You get on Facebook nowadays, and that's all social media is just. If your team is the opposite team, you're automatically stupid. Like, everybody's just arguing, and I think I can understand somebody disagreeing with what we're saying here today. Like, I totally get it, but just to completely write it off without doing any research or looking at anything, and a lot of people just immediately, the minute you say it, you're discredited. Like, yeah, whatever. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to even think about it. This is what I've learned in school. You're not smarter than my teacher. You're not smarter than the scientist. But the thing is where do all these people learn? They all are getting regurgitated information from the colleges and from who's teaching the college professors, the people from NASA and all these places. So the scientists, like, everything is trickled down. So by the time you get to like a regular high school teacher or even a college teacher, like, it's been regurgitated so many times. Same thing with doctors. That's why, like, doctors are getting away from a lot of these like painkillers and stuff like that because they're finally realizing, hey, this isn't the answer. But for many years, doctors were just writing drugs because why? They were taught this is what we do. And so like you can't just say, well, my teacher's smarter than you, so they know, because they're learning what they were taught.
Right.
It'd be the same thing if we learned about still Earth and trained our kids, and then they're like, well, I learned from this person, so I'm smarter than you. It just the fact that people just write stuff off and trust people so quickly is what's mind-boggling to me. Like, I don't get that.
Well, the opposition, Kristen, she believes in the whole spinning and all that, and her only argument I've ever gotten out of her is gravity.
Yeah.
And I mean, that doesn't tell me a whole lot, because I don't really necessarily believe in gravity either. I believe in mass and things fall up and down and gases and all that, but I don't think it's
Like there's a gravitational pull. Like you don't need to.
well, a magnetic pull, I think.
Right,
because
right.
everything is magnetism.
We do have iron.
Electricity, flow, frequencies.
Mhm.
That's all moving parts, but gravity, I don't.
There's so many radical different like maps of flat Earth too. Like it's hard to find one that actually makes sense. Like most of them that you look up are just like clearly made to look stupid.
I wanted to look up
This one.
old maps, and this was one that I was able to pull up.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm like, it makes sense because Antarctica would actually be
The shelf.
The shelf.
Yeah.
Because if you're going south, anywhere you are, you would hit Antarctica. So it'd work on both maps. Like if we're around Earth, you go south, Antarctica's here. But if also when you're flat, you go south.
And what really like bothers me is because I don't believe anything just blindly. I do research, and I'm sure just as you do and many others. But there are people that will just believe whatever. I don't know because I've never been there. You know what I mean? But like I don't physically know, but I know that
Right.
God is real, and I've never physically seen him. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but like what bothers me is like you look at like that Antarctica treaty. And it's like, why would they have this weird treaty with all the countries if there wasn't something there? Regardless of whether it's the end of the earth or whether it's a sea monster or whether it's whatever, aliens, like there's got to be a reason why there's an Antarctica treaty with all these countries and that nobody can go there. Like you have to have like...
It's got to be a guided visit. That's
yeah,
it.
you can't just go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
Why not? You know what I mean? Like... It makes no sense.
And it's to protect the land, they say. It's
Protect
like, it's a little interesting.
the land from what? Stepping on it?
Because they care about the land.
But if they guide you that it's okay to step on it, like that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Like if you actually break stuff down, it doesn't make any sense. I thought that. I've thought a lot of things where I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Somebody just taught me that. That doesn't make any sense.
I wish I knew which verse. I wrote a bunch of verses. There's one that talks about how the waters hold the waters in, and then the waters above us that protect us. So, I mean, it only makes sense that the ring in it. There was a verse that says that the Earth is a circle, so it would also make sense that Antarctica is a circle. And then people correlate that with a sphere. A circle isn't a sphere.
Right.
You know, that doesn't apply that it's a spinning ball.
Right.
Because there was like, I was reading all these things about people rebuttaling like these Christian theories because it says it doesn't move, and then they're like, well, read this verse. Well, it doesn't say it's a spinning ball, it says it's a circle.
Right.
I also pulled up this map about the underground sea cables, which was pretty cool, and how they travel. And on a globe, this guy, I watched this video, guy talking about it, how on a globe it makes sense for cables to go in other directions, like straight down and around and stuff like that. But no, they all go from east to west, which is pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Some flights don't make sense.
Well,
either.
flight plans. I was
Yeah.
I was diving into all kinds of stuff. So flight plans, the person explained like if they're going up and over, and it made sense that it was not on a sphere, because it would make more sense to go A to B, way less miles, like 1,000 less miles.
So like you're saying, like if somebody's going to like California or to Japan, they would still go the other direction? Or are you saying, I guess I'm lost on that one.
I didn't dive too much into it.
Okay.
On the
There's a
plane.
few specific flights, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think one of them was to Japan and another place, but it made sense. It shows where they go, but if you look at those patterns on a globe Earth, they go like out of their way. They go an extra distance for no reason. There's a few flight patterns that are like that that just don't make any sense, and they do it all the time, like every day. Like they say.
Yeah, I guess I would like to dive more into that, like how long, length of flights, like how long are they?
Right.
Travel.
Well-
Why are you, why some flights like 24 hours, 48 hours, like, I don't know.
No, I figure. And that's the thing is like I don't know. Like I don't know for sure. I have my theories, and I'm sure as everybody else does. But like I just will not just blindly agree with whatever somebody tells me and be like, oh okay, because there's a lot of things that don't make any sense. I think anybody that's rational will actually agree with that. Most
Right.
people, but we've been trained to just laugh at people if they think different than us. And I've seen it both ways. I've seen, conspiracy theory people on Facebook making fun of, people that believe traditional, books and stuff. And it's like, okay, if you are right, one, you're not going to win them over like that, and two, you got to keep in mind that they've been told this their entire life. So it's like you got to love them, talk to them, explain why you think this. And I see a lot of people just,
I think it's so angry.
yeah, they just fight. It's like, truth is, there's a lot of things we don't know.
That's my sister-in-law. She gets irate
Mm-hmm.
because I pulled this picture up. Well, there's another verse saying something like we're under a seal, and like he laid the waters over us like a garment, like, or a curtain, I think is the words. But to me, like, you listen to him, to me his word is almighty, and
Absolutely.
and I think that it trumps everything. There's another one, 96:10. Say among the nations, the Lord reigns. Yes, the world is established. It shall never be moved. So that phrase right there is in numerous verses telling you the earth should never move.
Yeah.
And then we're told it spins and it's a ball. So there's a lot of confusion there.
And somebody could argue, well, moved from what? Well, if it's not moving like we're moving supposedly now, what would that even mean? Like move from, like why would the Earth move? Like if you take away the spinning thing, like it's got to be talking about the Earth, because I don't know how to phrase that, but like why else would the Earth move? Why would it just shift? Like it's saying it won't move. That's the only way it would move is if it was out in space moving around, right? So like why else would it move? I guess that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does in my head. But if you think about that logically, the only thing it could be talking about is straightforward, the Earth doesn't move. Like what else could that be talking about?
Maybe it means not moving from its cycle around the sun.
Well, another off its axis is an argument I've heard.
Mhm.
So, but what does that mean? It's going to spin differently? Like we're not going to be? Then we'll be in outer space then? Like
Right.
Where's that theory go?
Right.
I don't know. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I would be interested to see someone's interpretation, or if I went through myself, of like the translations to the Bible.
Oh, into
And
Hebrew.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Hebrew and stuff like that.
That's the other argument. Like, well, I don't speak Hebrew.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I'd love to have that correlation,
Yeah.
because then we could actually truly know.
Because there are words that were there in Hebrew and in Greek that we didn't have an exact word for. And so there are words that are kind of off, but I mean, I don't know. I know that I read it quite often about the firmament in the Bible, right? And it makes sense. Like when you read it and then you see the old maps, you start putting things together. And again, I don't say I know anything, you know. I just,
Well, that's why I was. It clicked to me when I was doing this research early, I don't know, 5+ years ago, and I saw a rainbow one day, and I'm just like, it makes sense. Like, why the rainbow is even projected. But even, there's a bigger story, but like, he's able to remind us because we're under a seal of water, and I think it's the reflection, I think, or however it's projected.
mm-hmm.
I think if you take on the perspective that the Earth is flat and dome over it, it is interesting to see that the evil perception or the evil deceptions kind of reveal itself. Like if you think we're flying through space or whatever, the sun is expanding, there's stuff that could wipe us out at any moment, we're insignificant, we're just another human in the billions of years on this planet, and now there's alien talk a lot now about aliens coming down.
Constant state of fear.
Mm-hmm. Fear they used, look what COVID did. You know, that messed society up just from a fear of a virus and take the shot. But if you have a fake alien invasion, what would that do? That's a whole other factor of fear.
Yeah, that's a.
You know, like, oh, there's an alien invasion, you know, do what we say and whatever. There's a couple different series that they'll use that.
Oh yeah, I think
Still
it's
do
just
that.
to keep you personally in a constant state of fear and confusion, and to be lost. You just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, Jay, because with space, you can make up anything.
Yeah.
You know, black holes are coming, you know, portals, and I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you, I mean, when you got unlimited space, right, because they say it's, I don't know, forever or whatever, like, yeah, anything can happen, right?
With a hole in the ozone
Yeah,
layer.
that's a good one.
Like it's
Yeah.
broken open. Well, to me, like, if you listen to his word, then water's pouring in.
Yeah. Yeah. You broke the barrier.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason why a lot of this happened is I think it goes, like I said earlier, like you got one conspiracy to unravel, you start seeing things. Mine for this came from the moon landing. Like that was the first thing I looked at, and then once I unraveled that whole can of beans, right? Then I'm like, wait a minute, what's, you know, like what? Then I started, you know what I mean? I started working backwards, and I'm like, none of this makes any, you know.
I love watching the video where the thing is just flapping. And it's like, yeah, that hole's there.
Oh, there's so many things. And to say that I know for sure is reckless, but to say that there's not, again, that there's not enough evidence to at least look at it, like people are like, oh, they'll just immediately call you stupid or whatever, but to say there's not enough evidence to at least look into that is ridiculous, because there's a lot of, you know, that they lost the technology to go back.
But we lost it. But we'll regain it.
Yeah, we lost the technology.
We'll just have to rebuild. I watched the video of that guy talking about it.
But yet, when I bought my Chevy Malibu, the guy that was sold, the salesman said that there was more technology in my Malibu than there was in the first space launch. Yet you lost the technology to go to the moon. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, or is it intentionally destroyed?
Exactly. And then you got numerous scientists claiming that they can't get past the Van Allen belts. You know, the radiation belts that are up there. You go so far and you hit those radiation belts, and they're like, they would fry you. And that's why we've never been to the moon. Everybody just completely laughs at them. They've been trained to just laugh at something they don't know about. And I think that's where we're at. Like, if we can get people to stop, just say, you know what, you don't have to agree with me. Like,
Just listen.
Yeah, just listen. Educate yourself and then make up your mind for yourself. But if you're only going to get information from one source your entire life, I have to believe a huge percentage of that is BS. You know what I mean? Like, when you're just, because if they know that you trust them 100%,
till they got you.
Yeah,
Put
they
it
do
on a
whatever.
sinker.
Yeah.
Step in line.
But I like to do research on it. I never seem to have time to do it. But if I ever get time to do it, I want to go back to where, like, the whole spinning thing started. And I don't know how long ago that was, where they came up with the theory of spinning on a ball and stuff. And
The
see,
first, well, it goes back. Supposedly, I was doing some research. It goes back to BC supposedly, but the first or the oldest model of the globe they have is from 1469.
okay.
But supposedly it goes back even further.
Well, I'd like to know, like, the percentage of what people believed back then. You know, how many people were like, this is silly, or if they just flat out believed it, like, okay.
See, well, I was reading about it each century, but the way they explained it, it was just more for reference, not necessarily like geographically correct and everything. Like, this is a map, this is like how I view it, and maybe it was easy to roll it around and say here and do all like that, because the way they were explaining it, it was just like a statue thing. Like, you had it in your house, like you were, you know, or at a certain level in society, and that they would only like use it to talk about and reference the Earth, not necessarily like this is what the Earth looks like,
Right.
a globe.
Because I have a hard time believing that they even had an idea of what it looked like in the 1400s. You know what I mean? To be able to, like, these are where all the mountains and how high they are. Like, that's. I mean, I know that they had trackers and stuff like that, but like,
yeah.
to get them close, that would be a lot of work. And I'm not saying they didn't do it.
How they measured
yeah.
and all that too.
I mean, that would be, and it's possible. Like you said, I didn't even think about that till you said that. But that whole globe thing could have been like an art piece at some point. Like, some rich person was like, you know, and then it just became a thing that people had in their houses or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Late in the 16th and the 17th centuries, when then the 18th it kind of was not a thing really, but to me it makes sense. Like, this is just, maybe you label this here, you know, instead of like a flat piece of paper. And
Do you know when they started teaching it, like in school or anything?
I didn't get that far.
I'd like to know, because
It wasn't that long ago. I'm not sure what year, but it wasn't as long ago.
Not as long as you
Think.
think.
yeah, look us up, Brody.
I am.
Teaching.
I'm just looking at this
18,
there,
late 80s. I could be very wrong.
Well, because I was trying to look up the first, like, actual globe, like, yeah, the globe model, but then I got, like, deep into other stuff. I was like, okay, just trying to get the history of it all.
It appears in the writings of Greek philosophers in 3rd century BC. It doesn't say when they start teaching it in school.
Like the modern day school system?
Say Department of Education. Use those tips in the word. When did the Department of Education teach here?
Because to be honest with you, now I'm going back to what we were taught in school, right?
Uh-huh.
If the globe is real and then it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour and all that stuff, until we sent somebody to space, or until we sent something to space, a camera or something, how would anybody even really know that for real? For sure. Yeah. You wouldn't.
And to me, so if you know, then have the knowledge that NASA, they don't have a true picture of the Earth either. It's all CGI.
Mm-hmm. They even admit it.
Yeah, they admit it.
Yeah.
They flat out admit it. So, to me, like, what is this little, I don't know, ball? Like, why are we even looking at it, or even
360 camera.
entertaining the idea that we live on a spinning ball?
Yeah.
Weird thing is all the videos that haven't been edited by someone or NASA themselves of any of the planets, if you look at the actual thing, they just look like balls of moving matter of some sort. And then you just look up pictures of the planets on Google, and it'll come up with this perfectly nice, edited, like
Jupiter.
solid ball.
Look at the
Jupiter.
ring.
And it's like, well, that's not what you see in telescopes,
That's
which is
funny.
weird.
No, I agree. Yeah.
It's just beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Well, I'll get an art like somebody will be like, "Oh, you're stupid," because I'll tell them that, and I'm like, "No, NASA admits it,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "No, they don't. Stop, shut up or whatever." I'm like, I can't even like they admit it, and and people still don't believe it. That drives me nuts. It's one of those things that can get me irritated faster than anything.
I forget what their argument was to make it like visually appealing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they
like,
supposedly take, because everything's spinning, right?
Yeah.
So supposedly they take like all these like billion shots, and then they decide what it's gonna look like, and then they CGI it all together or something.
Yeah.
There's no way to get a clean shot or I don't know. When you're up in space, it's impossible because everything's flying and moving, and I'm like, you don't make any sense.
Hey, Bob, look at that asteroid.
It doesn't make any sense because like we can look up and see things and it's not spinning and moving. Like it does. I don't know.
Yeah, the stars barely even move. They're the same as they were
Yeah.
millions of years ago, or however old the Earth is. They don't move. Yet we're spinning through space, and there's stuff happening all the time in space, and they're changing all the time. It's like, it's not what I see at all.
Well, I just had, through talking all this, it wasn't even an argument I could thought of, but the flood. Like, how would you explain the flood on a spinning ball compared to a still ball? Like, it would make sense to fill it up,
Yeah.
How would that even be practical?
I
It
don't-
make sense. Like, I couldn't even have an argument to make it for that.
Right. Yeah. Well, the sad part is that most of the world doesn't believe in the flood, and so even a lot of churchgoers, I find, will go to church, read their Bible, believe in God, but then they'll believe whatever the news tells them, or they'll believe whatever science tells them, and it's like. So I got friends that are Christians who go to church and they think the Earth is like 20 billion or however many years old or whatever. I'm like, how can you believe both of those things? Like, you can't. Like, that's impossible. You have to choose.
They found the ark, and like it's talked about, and like
All
It's
these
not just the
different.
Bible. that's-
Yeah, I mean, there's all these different stories about the flood, even in different religions.
yeah,
And it's like, it happened. And then, like, what was it, China? They found these huge ripples. You know, you ever go to the beach early in the morning before anybody's been swimming and you get those, like, sand lines?
mm-hmm.
They had these huge ones in China, but they're like, instead of those sand lines on the beach, they're like that in grass that's like 50 feet high. These huge sand lines. And every scientist will admit that it was from a huge flood. But then when you bring up the flood in the Bible, they laugh at it. They're like, no, we're talking about floods billions of years ago. So the one I believe in is laughable, but you believe one that
When an asteroid hit a lake or an ocean.
like it's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah, all the technology they have too that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
The things that they can do.
Well, yeah, that's where when I was looking up Still Earth, they just pulled up like free energy and all that, and like how architecture back in the day was how they captured energy out of the air. Like stuff that the balls up top and how metal was woven a certain way was to catch the frequency, and the higher it went, the more power they got.
Yeah. And one thing that's always boggled me, and maybe this is laughable because maybe I'm missing something because I'm not a science guy, but like they throw these satellites up that run like our TVs and all the equipment and everything. But if we're spinning, aren't we at some point going against the satellite? Wouldn't like something be changing? Like TV antennas, like old school TV antennas, right? You had to turn the knob to move it just right to get it where we could get the the channel or whatever. Like, wouldn't it like go out once we moved? Like, I don't understand.
It spins with us.
It's constantly following my house.
And it makes no sense at all.
And I think even if we get to heaven and we find out that we were wrong about what we believe in, like, I think we've seen enough, just like the neighbor analogy, we've seen enough lies through our lifetime, just our time alone, and then you look in history and see it, like, to not trust everything that we're told.
Right.
Like, it just makes sense not to trust everything. Like, if you look at history, all these people that trusted everything the government did, like, they're not around anymore. Those people are not. So it's like, I see it every day. Everybody just believes whatever they hear, and that's it.
Right. My questioning when I started not trusting everything was when I watched Hunting Hitler on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and then just all the like hard evidence that he clearly lived a long life
Mm-hmm.
and didn't die in that bunker. So when that started the lies, then it just trickles down to just everything else.
That's what I kind of try to do. Is I try to instead of, because I know that, like, I'm sure that you have multiple conspiracies that I do too, right? Like, and everyone's got their ones that they're most passionate about. But if you start throwing conspiracies at people left and right, you're overloading them. And so I just try to stick with one.
Yeah.
Because if you can get somebody to look into one and actually see that one's a conspiracy, then it's like just like how my life was. It started unraveling. I'm like, wait a minute. Because before 9/11, I didn't even care 9/11 happened. I was not living for the Lord at the time. I remember my mom calling me on the day that it happened and was like, Twin Towers just got hit. And I'm like, oh, that's too bad. And then I did feel some sense of sadness when, we were going to the Lansing Mall to go see a movie, and all these firefighters were out in the street, like, collecting money in their boots and stuff for the firemen. Then I'm like, oh man, this is real, right? Like, I was 19 and didn't care. And then, but then a few years later, I started watching these documentaries, and then I'm really caring because I'm like, wait a minute, not only did all these people die, but they didn't have to die, and all the people behind it. I'm like, okay, if this happened, what else happened? And then I started doing deep dives, and I know that there are some conspiracies that are probably
The Golda witness.
yeah. I mean, there's conspiracy theories though that I think you would probably agree with this, that are probably so out there that probably aren't real.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think those discredit the ones that are real. You know what I mean? They just put everybody in one category. You either, a traditional whatever, believe what the government says, or you're a conspiracy theorist. And it's like,
loony.
yeah, and I don't believe in every conspiracy, but especially the government ones, I am all in, because I've read so many books on it that I'm just like, I can't believe NASA because they're part of the government. And I can't believe the government because since World War II, they have 1 billion redacted files.
1 billion?
1 billion. Over 1 billion. And that's just since World War II. So it's like, if you look into that, it's crazy how many files that are classified. And it's like, that's not freedom. And obviously, if you have that many files hidden, something's being kept from people.
Oh, yeah, I was in my midst of all this, got distracted, and someone did a Freedom of Information Act on COVID of these people in charge on their emails. Got 46 pages and they're all redacted.
Yeah, yeah. You get a page like all blacked out, like with the. You get like, well, that was helpful. Thank you.
I. This is all I want you to read.
Yeah. And if there wasn't anything there, why redact it? Why, just like JFK. Not to get off track, but like JFK, they just kept it. Biden kept it. What was it? Another 70 years or something. They kept it under. Like they just voted, or I don't know how that works. I don't know if he just says it or if they vote, but like they decided to keep it, redacted for another 70 years. I'm like, first of all, everybody that is involved is dead.
Yeah.
So why do you care? Even if something bad is in there, why do you care? There's something there that you don't want people to know. Otherwise, you would just be, here's all the files. Do a news piece on it or something, but they won't. They won't redact the files. There's something there.
Oh, dirty.
Yeah, wouldn't want any power to the people. Knowledge. That would be bad.
Terrible to think for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
They say that fools are the only people who question higher authority. I think people who are awake and know what they're talking about are the ones that do that.
Fools.
I'll add to that, and I'll say that people calling them fools are probably the high authority.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just look at who you're not allowed to criticize.
You're not allowed to criticize the government. You're not allowed to criticize the FBI. Any of them.
Yeah.
Was there anything last minute things you want to add before we go?
None.
I think this was awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe the start of many more to come, hopefully.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
We
it.
all do. And yeah, maybe we'll do it again.
See you next time.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you later.
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 Hello everyone, welcome to Basic History, where we send Kara out into the school halls to ask people basic history questions.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I need you to answer them.
Okay.
Who are the 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore?
I don't know.
Who do you think they are? Just name off 4 presidents you think they're on.
George Washington. Abraham Lincoln. Roosevelt. And Thomas.
Yes. When was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1342.
Yes. Who was the 4th president of the United States?
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Who were the 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore?
George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington.
When was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1969.
Yes. Who was the 4th president of the United States?
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
I have no idea.
George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and Donald Trump.
Yes. Oh my word. When was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1776.
Yes. And who was the 4th president of the United States?
I don't know.
George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, and the other one starts with a J. I forgot that one.
Okay.
But
When was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1776.
And who was the 4th president of the United States?
No idea.
Okay.
George Washington. Abraham Lincoln. Who else would I? Wilson? Woodrow Wilson?
Yep.
John Adams?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Awesome.
When was the
There's
Declaration
no way.
of Independence signed?
1776.
Yes. Who was the fourth president of the United States?
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Washington. My kids sing this all the time. Washington, Adams. That can't be right. Madison and Monroe. James Monroe.
Who are the four presidents on Mount Rushmore?
The four presidents are on Mount Rushmore are Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. There are two others, and I have no idea.
Who do you think they are?
Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
When was the Declaration of Independence signed?
Pretty sure it was somewhere in 19s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was the fourth president of the United States?
The fourth president of the United States was, let's see, definitely Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
Ah. I have to picture him. Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and who's the fourth one? Adams. Oh, nice.
When was the Declaration of Independence signed?
Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776.
Who was the fourth president of the United States?
Washington, Adams, Jefferson. Madison?
Yes.
Welcome to Mad Libs with the gang. Mr. D has printed out some Mad Libs for us all. We've all filled out the various adjectives and nouns and things for all of it. And we're going to read them out for you guys.
All right, who wants to go first?
I will.
Brody.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to volunteer Brody anyways.
I mean, you might as well. He'll do it, whether we volunteer him or he volunteers himself.
All right, Brody, I picked this one just for you.
Oh, that.
Right. Oh boy.
Here we go.
Hello Kitty loves her huge family. Her twin Mimi is also her best bowler in the whole wide plain. She looks just like Hello Kitty, except she wears a yellow bow on her right elbow. Hello Kitty's common parents are her mama, Mary, and her papa, George. Mama is a kind and small Brody.
Brody.
She loves to cook and take care of men.
Oh no.
Papa is always making very helpful jokes. He is a hard-working nun and loud. Papa to Hello Kitty and Mimi.
My lord.
Hello Kitty's grandma and grandpa are named Margaret and Anthony. Grandpa loves to paint teddy bears. Grandma enjoys making sweaty bears for Hello Kitty and Mimi, and she also likes to embroider Build-A-Bears. Hello Kitty's family is a very stupid part of her crow.
So many bears.
That was awesome.
Oh no.
You really ended it off with stupid.
Yup.
All right, Jay wants to go next.
Let's go.
There's a lot of bears.
This is gonna be hard to like go back and forth.
Yeah, Brody seemed to be struggling with that a little bit.
You got it.
It
You
would
got
have been
it.
easier if I had actually written down.
Okay. Only 7 minutes left till the school Catholic church rings. And when it does, I'm so out of here. It's impossible to thrust on algebra when I could be at home watching shows like the Barf Green Thornberries.
What?
On the Billy Tunes. Seriously, right now, the only thing standing between me and Ronnie,
Ronnie.
Ronald McDonald?
Me. And an ice cereal box. What?
Do you need help?
We're a little confused here.
Oh, what?
So is he.
Okay, and an ice yellow juice cereal box in math. OMZ. What if my older sister Michelle Obama or Michael Obama she'll totally be walking the remote, and I'd rather eat my own suits.
Suits, really?
Yeah. Then miss an episode of Ren and Gooflamungus. The selfish beavers. And does she actually think she can just swim my fruit by the feet and keep me from watching Van Power as if she may be bossy like Angelico from the Ring Tigers? But I've got Mom's number on speed dial. That was incredibly difficult.
That was that. You were struggling.
Not good with going back in time.
Kara.
My lord. Bus had a flat tire there.
What's the title?
A letter from George. Hello, my fellow tables. In 2022, it's me, George Washington, the first foot massager. I am writing from the Florida, where I have been secretly living for the past 3,520 years.
That's a long time.
I am concerned by the green state of affairs in America these days. It seems that your politicians are more concerned with playing one another than listening to the pens of the table. When we declared our independence from the Narnia.
Whoa!
We
Hold
set
on.
forth a smelly path guided by the voices of everyday tarantulas.
Oh no. Not the Australians and their tarantulas.
If we're going to keep whistling, then we need to learn how to respect all flags.
Sure.
I think McKay
Don't get
was
me
broken.
wrong, we had camera problems in my day too. Benjamin Franklin once called me a book and kicked me in the earlobe. But at the end of the day, we were able to ski in harmony. Let us find the funny spirit once again, or else I am taking my little toe on my left foot off the corner.
For freedom.
Little toe on your left foot.
Yep, my little toe on my left foot.
Wow.
I think Zach should go next.
George Washington.
All right.
Yeah,
Hit me with it.
Got some interesting
3,520
adjectives.
Yeah.
years.
Flexible.
All right. Sonic's abode was a very salty place. At first glance, it seems to be an American cave, but if you look closer, it's actually a comfortable golf club. For one, Sonic has a super cozy beanbag guitar. When he feels like listening to some beautiful tunes from the 1980s, Sonic turns on his old school waffle, pulls out his collection of geckos, and jams out. In addition to great tunes, Sonic has plenty of flavorful equipment to keep him busy. There's a dryer that Sonic uses as a treadmill to run 11 miles a day. He has an aquamarine ping pong table where he plays against himself. His record is 37 wins and 0 losses. And for that final touch, Sonic hung textbooks all over his cave walls. He's got a flexible photo of McDonald's next to a green poster of squirrels. It may not be much, but Sonic loves to running in his cave.
You got this, Bubs.
Alright,
Of course you get Sonic, you big nerd. What are you? Friggin'
You have to
Sonic
read the title.
What?
There's Sonic.
Yeah,
Talk
some of
to
you
me,
guys are forgetting to
Sonic.
read the title.
Yeah.
Mine was Meet Hello Kitty's Family.
We can tell.
Uh-oh.
What does yours say, Dale?
If I were president.
Oh gosh.
This is gonna be good.
Oh no.
Especially with Dale's large vocabulary.
My name is Brody.
Oh.
Mr. President, what do you have to say for yourself? That was a salute, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, my name is Brody and I am 87 years old. If I were president, I'd do a whole bunch of tiny things. I would drive the biggest royal purple car in the country, and that car would go faster than any other chicken in the world. Everyone would eat pepperoni waffles for dinner. I would live in the Statue of Video game and build a splashing pool at her feet. What?
Why not?
I would wear a sweatshirt jacket on my head, and everyone would say I look wonderful like Barack Obama.
Yo.
You do be looking good though.
School would be open only 4 days a year. I would give my friends the best jobs. I would nominate Zach to be Secretary of the Planet, and Michaela could be Vice Politician.
Yes.
Vice politician.
Vice
Of course.
Politician.
Not vice president, just a vice politician.
And last but not least,
Secretary of the Planet.
All right.
I own everything.
Yay.
Totally tie-dyed.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
In the 1960s, tie-dyed genies became a popular fashion fad after Kevin Schaefer wore a psychedelic flannel at a concert. Soon after, hippies donned this vicious apparel while promoting peace and insert your mom's address. Today...
What? That's my address!
Today, anyone can create colorful gremlins in their own backyard. First, take a damp flannel and suspend and roll the fabric. Then tie it with some rubber elves. Next, dip sections into vats of colored Dawn dish soap, hashtag not sponsored. The longer it soaks, the more... The longer it soaks, the more sponsored the colors become. Finally, soak your creation in a mixture of Dale and vinegar.
Dale has left the building.
He's gone. Keep going.
This tangy solvent helps vocalize the dye,
Dale's now a
keeping
tangy
colors
solvent.
looking crispy. It might make a radical gift for that special... Where'd it go? Oh. Keep the colors looking crispy for years. And if tie-dyed isn't your cup of Coke, it might make a radical gift for that special Kevin in your life.
Kevin?
Maybe Kevin... Okay. Would Kevin wear a tie-dye flannel?
Yes.
No.
Dale, you're looking
I think
awfully
he would
tangy
make one
today.
and then burn it in a fire.
Why would he even make one at that point?
I don't know. It's Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin would wear a flannel.
He'd wear it for like one occasion and then never again.
And then wear it for the next time that occasion occurs. He keeps things
Yes.
for special
That is
occasions.
true.
I heard he still has his Jimothy outfit.
He
Jimothy!
does.
Of course.
Are you coming back now, Bubs?
I think I'm going insane.
Good, because that means we can leave now, because that's all the Mad Libs we have.
Yeah.
So I hope you thought it was funny. Leave in comments which one you thought was more hilarious. Alright.
Yeah.
See ya!
Sayonara!
Western Meadowlark.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Will It Flip. Our item today...